people are going to react within their own realm when you're doing something good for you. And just because they're having that really big, hardcore, intense, maybe negative reaction doesn't mean that the work that you're doing for yourself is any less valid or less necessary. Because especially when you're coming from a realm of like perfectionism, high anxiety, people pleasing, you're going to feel incredible shame and guilt setting the boundary in the first place.
That's good to know.
And then you have somebody else.
You're functioning properly.
Yeah.
That's gonna bless somebody what you're saying right now.
I mean, I hope
honest.
so, because
it is.
That's something that I still find myself getting like, having to, reacquaint myself with. It's like, oh, okay, just because it doesn't feel good doesn't mean that I'm not doing good work here.
Yeah.
Because that discomfort is necessary for your growth and for theirs. Nothing good comes from codependent relationships, especially long term. It's not healthy.
Yeah. I think that's going to set a lot of people free. Because a lot of times if you don't have anybody, and again, I still go back to accountability partners and mentors to be able to do the iron sharpens iron work, right?
Right.
Somebody to be able, and not just mentors, but a therapist, to say, you are functioning properly for yourself. Meaning that if you're going through this shame that you're feeling, yeah, let's deal with that shame.
Right.
And that's normal. That's normal to deal with, to feel that shame or that guilt that you can't be, because some people pride themselves on being there. Like, I'm there for that person. I've been there for that person, or I'm always there. If somebody ever needs me, I'm going to be there. I got to be that go-to person, right?
Right.
And the moment that they realize that may not be healthy, that may not be the most healthiest thing that they're doing, and they stop. And it's not that you're not being there for people. It's just that you have looked at your time a little bit differently.
Right.
They feel automatic guilt and shame.
Absolutely. Well, deconstruction and changing the way that you interact with people is going to have a big impact on you, especially the more that you've been caught in a particular pattern or cycle. So one of the things that we all have to remind ourselves, no matter what our healing journey looks like, is healing doesn't always feel good. And it's funny because my son, he's like, I don't want to take my allergy medicine or whatever. And I'm like, boy, I don't want to eat my vegetables. Okay.
But here we are.
But guess what? Doing things that are good for you doesn't always feel good in the moment. Sometimes you have to push through that discomfort.
Exercising.
Oh, girl, don't even talk to me about exercising. We're not talking about that right now. But yes, that's a perfect example, is being able to push through that discomfort and giving yourself permission to be like, okay, I'm here now, validate yourself. I'm here now, and I'm going to fill in the blank, right? I'm feeling this pain, and I'm going to put it into art. I'm feeling this pain, and I'm going to set some boundaries. I'm feeling this pain, and you know what I mean? So it's taking that and saying, I'm going to use this as a means to get better and continue to propel me forward instead of keeping me stuck or keeping me trapped in an unhealthy place. And I don't know.
Sorry.
It's okay. Acting out. Whole fool.
That was me.
Good grief.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But it's like, martyrdom is, I don't know. It only gets you so far. You're always depleted. And once again, it comes at a cost. So while you're sitting there getting an ego boost off of being everybody's ride or die, what are you really gaining from that?
Nothing.
Well,
I mean, you're still gaining something.
I mean,
it's just not the most healthiest thing
you're
for
getting
you.
the ego boost, the
ego
confidence.
boost,
But at the end of the day, then what? Then you start to realize that people only come to you when they're going through something. They don't think of you when they're going through good times, because they only think of you to lean on you when they're going through their hard times. Think about how you get treated when you're in that situation.
That's so good.
It's very isolating.
That's so good. It is isolating, very isolating. And so how does somebody again pull themselves out of that isolation?
Well, they have to want to, for one.
Yeah.
They have to see that the isolation is not helping them, right? It's not benefiting them in any way. But without that, it's just the people around them moving on with their lives. And it's unfortunate, because sometimes it can come from a place of like being frozen, right? Not knowing how to get out of whatever pattern that you're currently in, just staying there. But comfortability has a piece of it too. The brain loves to stick with what it knows, no matter how ridiculous it might seem or unhealthy it is. If it's predictable, it's safe, and the brain likes to keep us there. So if you're going to take the jump to try and move out of that space, realize that you're going to have to put a lot more intention and effort and focus on it. And it's going to be kind of jarring, because things will start to, you'll open your eyes and start to see things in a whole new way and question, you know, kind of yourself. And it can be a very, very hard thing to go through. But once again, hard doesn't mean bad or unhealthy, right? It just means just that you're going to have some growing pains.
Yeah.
And also teamwork. It takes teamwork to pull people out of isolation. You know, they have to, it's one thing for them to be like, okay, I'm going to do what I can to pull myself out of this, but are there going to be people there to help me? Am I going to have a support system? Because we need that. We're social beings. We, you know, thrive being around people. And I'm not saying it needs to be around a bunch of people, but you know, the folks that are for you, that will make space for you, reminding people of that, giving them that sense of community. But they have to be able to pull themselves out of it a little bit in order to even accept your support in the first place. You know, so it's got a two-way street here. You got to do the work independently, but you also have to be able to say, okay, I'm ready for a sense of community.
Yeah.